Hello everyone, welcome to the series in Science 2. I'm your teacher, Sir Christopher Uminga. Last meeting class, I discussed to you the different rules on how to write a research logbook. Let us see if you can still remember our topic by answering exercise 1 entitled Remember Me. The directions of this exercise is choose from the parentheses the correct word or words that describe the rules in writing a research logbook. I will give you 5 minutes to answer these questions, and afterwards, let us check your answers. You may start now. Let us check now your answers. For number 1, what is the correct answer? Yes, the correct answer is put. Put page numbers in your logbook. Okay? Always put numbers or page numbers in your logbook. How about number 2? Parents' names is excluded in the front page of a logbook information. That's correct. Do not include the information of your parents in your logbook. Number 3. Full sentences are required in writing your logbook. For number 4, table of contents is the last part to be accomplished, so leave the first page blank. For number 5, there should be 20 to 25 literature and studies included in your research. Then for number 6, RRLS should be arranged from chronological order. Then number 7, control group is the group that remains fixed. For number 8, parallel group design composed of 2 groups only. Then for number 9, there should be at least 3 replications in every treatment when experimenting. Then for the last one, materials and equipments are parts of Chapter 3 in this study. Okay, who among you got all the correct answers? Very good. This time class, I would like you to focus on the screen. In your screen, there are 2 illustrations there. We have illustration A and illustration B. I would like you to study these 2 illustrations for 2 minutes. Then afterwards, let us answer the questions below. You may start now. Now, are you through, class? Okay. For question number 1, are these 2 illustrations contain similar data? Yes, these 2 illustrations contains similar data. As you can see, the number of participants here is 20, which is also the same in illustration A. Then the age group 20 to 25, which is similar to illustration A, 20 to 25, 26 to 30, 31 to 35, and 36 to 40. How about number 2? Which of the 2 illustrations is easier to understand and why? Well, the illustration that is easier to understand is illustration B. Why? Because as you can see, the illustration B is properly labeled and they are categorized. So it is easier to understand illustration B than illustration A. How about number 3? Which is more organized? Yes, letter B is still more organized than illustration A. Okay? How about the next activity? We have here a table, the average height of corn plants after 1 month using different fertilizers. We have here the different treatments and the mean height of the plants after 1 month. Okay, we have here some questions. For question number 1, what is the title of the table? Yes, the title of the table is Average Height of Corn Plants After 1 Month Using Different Fertilizers. Number 2, how many columns are there in the table? Exactly, there are only 2 columns. This is column 1 and column 2. Number 3, how many rows are there in the table? That's right. There are 5 rows. We have row 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For number 4, what is independent variable or the variable that is changed by the researcher? Okay, the independent variable here, class, is the treatments. Okay, for number 5, what is the dependent variable or the result of the change in the independent variable? Correct. The dependent variable here is the mean height. Okay, do you understand, class? Okay. time class, I would like you to perform activity 2 entitled Organize Me. Given the situation below, make a table and title for it. Let us see if you have stock knowledge on how to make a table and write the title for a table. I will give you 10 minutes to do this activity. Then afterwards, you may key in your answer so that we can check it later on. You may begin now. Okay? So in today's lesson class, the learning competency is to present data in tabular and graphical form with the code R10-IIG-H-2. The specific objectives of this lesson is are, letter A, define tabular form of presenting data. Letter B, recognize the importance of using tables in presenting data. Then letter C, present the data using the tabular form. Now, our lesson for today class is presenting data using tabular form. There are different ways on how to present data. It can be a tabular form, a graphical form, or a textual form. In today's lesson class, we will focus on the presenting data using the tabular form. But what is tabular form? Tabular form is a systematic and logical arrangement of data in the form of table with rows and columns with respect to the characteristics of the data. So in the tabular form class, you are going to make a table with rows and columns wherein you can put the data that are arranged systematically and logically. So that is the meaning of tabular form. Okay. In a statistical table, there are some parts. So it's not easy to make a table. You should follow the following parts of the statistical table. The first part of the statistical table is the table number. The table number class is the identity of the table. It may be single number or double numbered table. So as you can see in this example, this one is the table number. It is labeled as table 1. So this is the identity of the table, meaning to say this will distinguish one table from the other. It may be single number or double numbered table. So there are two types of numbering the table. It may be single number or double number. The single number table class is usually used to indicate the order of the table in the entire research paper. So meaning to say, you can use single number by basing it on the order of the table in the entire research paper or entire manuscript. If it is the first table in the entire research paper, then you can label it as table 1. If it is the 10th table in the entire research paper, you can label that as table 10. So there is only one or single number in that table. Then letter B, double numbered table. It indicates the chapter number and the order of the table in that paper. For example, table 2.2 or table 3.5. So in double numbered table class, the first number will indicate the chapter and the second number will indicate the order of that table in that particular chapter. So for example, in table 2.2, it means that it is the second table in chapter 2. Okay? For table 3.5, it means that it is the fifth table in chapter 3. Okay, how about if it is table 4.7? What does it mean? Okay, it means that it is the seventh table in chapter 4. So that is the double numbered table. Okay, the next part of the statistical table is table heading. It consists of table number and title. So this one is the table heading. You can usually see it on the top of the table. It has the table number and the title of the table. Number 3, stubs. Stubs are categories which are found at the left side of the body of the table. It usually contains the data of the independent variable. So in this example, these are the stubs. Okay? They are usually found at the left side of the table, which are the data for the independent variable. The independent variable here is the treatment. So these are the stubs. Number 4, The box head. The box head is found at the top of the table. They are the variables that categorize the data in the table. So usually the box head are found at the top part of the table. These are the categories which may be the independent variable or the dependent variable. Okay? Then the fifth part is body. Body is the main part of the table found at the right part. It is usually contains the data of the dependent variable. So in this table, the dependent variable is the mean height, and the data under mean height are what we call the body or the body. And the sixth part is the source. Source is found below the table and indicates where the table came from, such as in an article, books, and others. So as you can see in this example, the source is usually found below the table. It indicates where the table came from. So in this example, the table came from the Philippine Journal of Research 2020. So that is source. So these are the parts of the statistical table. We have the source, we have the body, we have the box head, the tabs, table heading, and table number. So those are the parts of statistical table. Can you follow, class? Okay. Okay. This time, class, let us learn on the rules in presenting data in tabular form. How do we present data in tabular form? So these are the rules. For rule number 1, there should be a title that describes the table. So it is very important that there should be a title in the table. This will describe, or it is the description of the table. Number 2, there should be a table number written before the title. So it is also important that you have to put the table number as the identity of the table. It may be single numbered or double numbered table. Number 3, plan the table by looking at the possible numbers of columns and rows. So it is important that before you make a table, you should count or think of the possible number of the columns and rows. Then number 4, the column heading contains the dependent and independent variable, wherein the independent variable is usually at the left part while the dependent variable is usually at the right part. So you should know where to put the independent and the dependent variable inside the table. Then number 5, put the unit of measure such as kilogram, meter, hours, etc. in the heading. So it is important that you should use the units of measurement, no, to identify whether it is for mass, for length, for hours, and for other units of measurement. The number 6, make the table clean and readable. So this is one of the important rules in presenting data. It should be always clean and readable. So can you follow, class? These are the rules on how to present data in tabular form. Okay? This time, class, I would like you to teach also on how to create table in your laptop computer. Okay, we have here the steps. For step number 1, you should open the laptop or desktop. Choose the application where to make the table. Is it for Microsoft Word, or you can also use Microsoft Excel. Okay, so in this example, okay, I use Microsoft Word. Okay, the second step, find the insert toolbar or ribbon. So you can find the insert toolbar here. Okay, then look for the table. Next, click the insert table to identify the number of rows and columns for your table. Press OK to create the table. So you can see a message box here wherein it shows here the number of rows and the number of columns. You can put the number of rows or columns based on your table. Then after that, you will press OK to create the table. The next is number 4. Type the data in the table cell. So you may now encode the data in your table cells. Okay? Number 5, click Save to save the table. So it is important that you have to save the table. So these are the steps on how to create a table in your laptop or desktop. Can you follow, class? Okay. Now, class, after listening and understanding all the rules and the steps on how to create a statistical table, this time I would like to perform activity 3. The title of the activity is Encode Me. So it is important that you must have a laptop or a desktop with you. Using the table that you presented in activity 1, encode it in your laptop with the correct parts based on what you have learned from the lesson. So these are actually the situations in your activity 1. So this time, I would like you to present it using the tabular form by encoding it. Okay? I will give you 10 minutes to do this activity. Then afterwards, let us check if you were able to encode them correctly. Okay, you may start now. Okay, let us check. So we have here the possible answer to that situation 1. Suppose a researcher conducted a study about the effects on the weight of bangus fish after 1 month of feeding with different meals. The fish fed with bread meal weighs 2.0 kilograms, shrimp meal 2.1 kilograms, rice bran 1.6 kilograms, and commercial feed with 2.8 kilograms. So we have here a possible table for that situation. Okay, we have here the table number, table 1. We have here the title, weight of bangus fish after 1 month feeding with different fish meals. You can get this title from this situation, okay? Then we have here the tables. We have here the independent variable, the fish meals, and of course the dependent variable, which is the weight in kilograms. So under fish meal, we have here the different data. We have bread meal, shrimp, rice bran, and commercial feeds. For the weight, we also have 2.0 kilograms, 2.1, 1.6, and 2.8 kilograms. Okay? So who among you got the same answers? Okay, how about situation number 2? Let us check. A gardener conducted a research on the effect of time of exposure to sunlight to the color of plants' leaves. He found out the following results. 0 hour is yellow, 1 to 2 hours is light green, 2 to 3 hours is green, 3 to 4 hours is blue-green, and 4 to 5 hours is dark green. Okay, so we have here the possible table for this situation. Okay, we have here the table number, table 2, and of course the title, effects of time of exposure to sunlight to the color of plants' leaves. So this is the title. Okay, we have here the table. Of course, we have the independent variable, which is the time of exposure to sunlight. Then the dependent variable, which is the color of plants' leaves. Okay, under the independent variable, we have here the time in hours, so 0, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 5. Then we have here the results. For 0, we have yellow, light green, green, blue-green, and dark green. Okay? Do you have the same results with you? I hope so. Okay, so those are the answers for your activity 3. Okay. This time, let us learn on some importance of presenting data in tabular form. Why do you think it is important to present data in tabular form, not in graphical form or textual form? What do you think are the importance? Okay, so we have here the 4 importance of presenting data in tabular form. The first one is it helps you keep the data organized. So when you use tabular form, the data are organized properly. Number 2, it can also help you in making graphs and other charts based on the information in the table. So if you make a tabular data, it can be a basis in making graphs and other charts later on. So that's why it is important that you should present the data in tabular form. Number 3, it is easier to understand when gathered data are in tabular form. That's correct. As we have learned a while ago, it is easier to understand the data if they are in tabular form. Number 4, it is easier to find data in the table rather than in textual form. That is exactly correct. It is easier to find the data when they are in the tables or in tabular form than you read it in the paragraph. So these are the possible importance of presenting data in tabular form. How about you? What do you think are the importance of presenting data in tabular form? Okay, you may key in your answer so that we can recognize it later on. Okay, so this time class, I would like you to get one whole sheet of paper. I would like you to answer this situation by tabulating your data and making a title for it. Okay, we have viewed the situation. As a grade 10 student, you are not yet decided where to go in senior high school because you are having a hard time thinking which is the most prestigious and well-known among your choices. The Isabela State University Cabagan, University of St. Louis, St. Paul, and Rodolfo B. Albano Standalone Senior High School. So you decided to make a survey considering which school your family, teachers, and friends. Okay, we have here the results. For your family, they chose ISU Cabagan. Okay, so for your teachers, some of them chose University of St. Louis. 4 for Isabela State University Cabagan. 2 for St. Paul University, Philippines. While your friends chose ISU Cabagan. Most of them chose ISU Cabagan because there are 12 friends who choose it. Then we have 2 for the Rodolfo B. Albano Standalone Senior High School and 5 for University of St. Louis. Okay, so I will give you 10 minutes to do this quiz. You may start now. Okay. Let us check now your quiz. Okay. So this is the possible answer for your quiz. Okay. We have here the number of the table. Table 4. Survey on choices of schools for senior high school. This one is the title of the table. We have here the independent variable, which is the respondent with your family, teachers, and friends. Then the name of senior high school, which is the dependent variable for ISU Cabagan, University of St. Louis, St. Paul University, then Rodolfo B. Albano. So we have here the data. 5 for ISU, teacher gave 4, your friends chose 12 for ISU Cabagan. Then similarly with the USL, St. Paul University, and Rodolfo B. Albano. Okay? Did you get the same result, class? Okay, I hope so. Now, class, for your assignment, I would like you to look for the meaning of graphical form of presenting data. And of course, you make a table for your research study or project by following the parts and rules. Okay? So that's it for today, class. I hope you learned a lot. Okay, goodbye, class.